There are several reports of this man existing before 1743, but they're mostly in Latin and we can't be sure what the hell they mean. So we're gonna start at the beginning, which is London in 1743, when suddenly there he was. An immortal man named Nicholas Stargard, or so we think that was his name. We don't actually know. He showed up claiming to be a 45-year-old virtuoso violinist and composer. According to some sources, his clothes were extremely expensive, but he dressed in such a simple fashion that no one knew it. He looked like a nobody, but he was anything but, because as soon as he opened his mouth, it became clear that this guy was special. See, London, in the early 18th century, was full of intelligentsia, scientists, philosophers and artists, people who were fascinated by all things mysterious and fantastical. And when they heard about this new guy in town who supposedly spoke every language in Europe fluently, could remove flaws from diamonds with his bare hands, and turn base metals like lead into gold, well, they were intrigued to say the least. But those were just rumors. What really made Nicholas Stargard famous, if that's his name, was his presence in London's high society. He became a regular fixture at the most exclusive parties and gatherings, engaging in lively conversations that amazed and captivated his fellow partygoers. Reportedly, he was always impeccably dressed, but he never revealed the source of his wealth. Adding to the enigma surrounding his true origins, the man was said to have an uncanny ability to recall historical events in meticulous detail, as if he had personally witnessed them. He would regale his listeners with tales of ancient Rome, Greece and the Middle Ages, transporting them to different eras and making history come alive for them. His stories were so vivid and captivating that his audience couldn't help but be spellbound by his gift of storytelling. But there was more to Nicholas Stargard than just his knowledge of history and his mysterious past. He was also a brilliant musician, a virtuoso violinist whose performances left his audiences breathless. His violin was said to be his constant companion, and he would often be seen strolling through the streets of London with his instrument in hand, ready to break into an impromptu performance at a moment's notice. According to legend, Stargard's violin playing was so mesmerizing that it could reduce listeners to tears or drive them to fits of laughter. He was a master of his craft, and his music was said to have a profound effect on those who heard it. As time went on, Nicholas Stargard became a regular dinner guest at the homes of London's elite. His presence at a dinner party was highly coveted, and invitations to dine with him were considered a great honor. People from all walks of life wanted to meet him, talk to him, and learn from him. They came from all over England to attend these dinner parties and listen to his amazing stories. In fact, the obsession with the mysterious man grew so intense that it became a sensation of the time period. Writers and playwrights began incorporating characters based on Stargard into their works, and it wasn't long before his face was plastered across all kinds of advertisements and other promotional materials. His fame reached such heights that it became difficult for him to walk down the street without being recognized. But despite all the attention he was receiving, very little is known about what he actually did in London during his 5 years there. There are some reports that he performed his diamond-removing trick for King George II, but there aren't any details or evidence to back up the story. Some people believed that Nicholas Stargard was actually an alchemist, who had come to London in search of the philosopher's stone, the mythical substance that could turn lead into gold. Others thought he might be a spy or an assassin sent from a foreign country to observe and report back on the English court. There were even rumors that he was a member of a secret society or an organization whose goals and methods were unknown. However, despite all the speculation and theories, there's no concrete evidence to support any of these claims. And as far as anyone can tell, Nicholas Stargard simply vanished from London in 1748 without a trace. But his story didn't end there. It turns out that he had been spotted in Paris the very same year, and this time he made an even bigger splash. Apparently, the French aristocracy welcomed him with open arms, and he quickly became a favorite among the intellectuals and members of the upper class. They loved listening to his stories of ancient civilizations and historical events, and they also enjoyed his musical performances. It seemed as though Nicholas Stargard was destined to live the rest of his life, traveling from city to city, charming and perplexing everyone he met along the way. But once again, there were rumors that he was up to something more sinister, that he was using his charm and charisma to gather intelligence or carry out covert missions for some unknown entity. Some people even claimed that he was a spy who had managed to infiltrate the highest levels of power in France. But as usual, there's no hard evidence to support these claims, and we're left with nothing more than speculation and theories. It is important to note that while there are numerous reports and accounts of Nicholas Stargard's activities in Paris, his actual origins and identity remain a mystery. Many historians and researchers have tried to piece together the puzzle, but they've come up empty-handed. Some believe that he was a real historical figure who lived during the 18th century, while others believe that he was a fictional character created by writers and playwrights who were trying to capitalize on the public's fascination with the mysterious and the macabre. It's possible that Nicholas Stargard was an ordinary man who lived an extraordinary life. Perhaps he traveled the world, learned many languages, and collected a vast amount of knowledge, which he then shared with those who were willing to listen. Maybe he was just a gifted musician who happened to be incredibly knowledgeable about history and languages. Or maybe he was a spy or an assassin who used his skills to gather intelligence and carry out covert missions for some unknown organization. The truth is, we don't know. What we do know is that Nicholas Stargard captured the imaginations of people during the 18th century, and his legend has lived on through the centuries. Even today, people are fascinated by the story of the immortal man who claimed to know everything about history, and who can blame them? It's a captivating tale that has all the makings of a great adventure story. Unfortunately, there are no surviving portraits of Nicholas Stargard, so we have no idea what he looked like. But that hasn't stopped people from trying to imagine what he might have looked like. Some people believe that he might have looked like a young Mozart, while others believe that he might have looked like a character from a Gothic novel. There are all kinds of images and illustrations out there of what people think he might have looked like, but the truth is, we'll never know. If you want to learn more about the mysterious Nicholas Stargard, there's not much out there in terms of resources. Most of the information about him can be found in old books and manuscripts, and it's often buried within stories and anecdotes. That being said, there are a few modern sources that have been written on the subject. These are often written by historians and researchers who are trying to piece together the puzzle that is Nicholas Stargard's life. Most of these resources can be found in libraries and archives, both physical and digital. With a little bit of research, you might be able to uncover some new and interesting information about this enigmatic character. So if you're on the hunt for more information about Nicholas Stargard, start with your local library or archive. You never know what kind of hidden gems you might find. Now, if you're looking for more videos like this one, then I've got some good news for you. Just take a look at the links on your screen right now. They'll take you 2 more videos that are packed with all kinds of fascinating and mysterious historical tidbits. I hope you enjoy watching them as much as I enjoyed putting them together just for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.